Hi everyone, I'm Whitney Childress, and this is Tips and Tools to Reduce Your Anxiety. And you'll see that right away I'm working out of my notebook because it helps me be less anxious to have notes. That's something that I started doing after I was widowed. I had a really great memory before, and now I need to take notes, and that's okay. I was widowed almost 6 years ago when my husband Ethan died by suicide. And I suffered a lot of anxiety after that, a lot of anxiety every day after that. So, a lot of these things I've done myself, and a lot of them have worked for me, and anxiety has gotten better over time, which is great. The first thing I want to talk about is our current situation, COVID-19, and what I'm seeing in the world from my friends and family, and what I'm seeing on social media. A lot of that is very dramatic language, or people saying that things are terrible, or that so many people are overreacting, or that this wasn't okay and people are bad, or people are doing things that aren't good. And I'm sure some of that is true. I'm sure some of us have seen things that aren't good or that aren't helpful or positive for our communities. From what I've seen, though, personally, I have seen so much more from people offering help or being supportive. And I want to make sure that my language reflects what I'm actually seeing and that it's not adding to drama. And Elizabeth Gilbert, the writer, she posted something the other day that has been really bouncing around in my head ever since I saw her. And that is, don't add drama to your trauma. And I think that's a really nice little catchphrase. When we over dramatize things and you ratchet up that language, you can also just kind of ratchet up your feelings that you're feeling. And that language will be internalized by you and contribute to your anxiety. So I want us to be really honest about what we're seeing and feeling, because we don't need to exaggerate to be true to ourselves or to be true to a situation. And I think you'll feel a lot better if you communicate in a really honest way. And I want you to do that in your widowhood as well. So when we're talking about being widowed, I want you to be open and vulnerable, because that's how you make connections and that's how you communicate the truth of the situation. But I also don't want you to over dramatize, because when we over dramatize or play act our widowhood for people, that can make it feel really insurmountable or like you can't handle it. And that's not true. That there are going to be many difficult things that you are faced with, like anxiety. But you can handle anxiety with some tools and with some support. And I think Camp Widow and your friends that you find here can help you learn some of those things. So let's get started. I'd like to talk about both daily living tips, so ways that you can build your day in a way that will help reduce anxiety, but also things that we can do in a moment of anxiety that will help reduce our anxiety. So the first thing in our daily living tips is to limit your caffeine. And I like caffeine. I got my big old cup right here. It's as big as my head almost. Probably shouldn't do that if you're having a lot of anxiety. I love it too, so I know the hardship of having to give it up. But caffeine is a stimulant, so it's going to make your heart race, it's going to make you sweat, it's going to mimic those feelings of anxiety, and it can trigger anxiety in you. Similarly, you want to limit your alcohol consumption. Alcohol is a depressant, so it's going to lower you, but when you come back up out of that, you can feel anxious. It's kind of like a rebounding effect. The cool thing right now is that sobriety is really popular, and dry January is a huge thing. So there are lots of neat mocktails and sparkling waters and different things that you can drink that still feel fun or celebratory if you want to have something at the end of the day without actually imbibing. Some of these other tips are going to make it seem like I'm being a mom, because I am, but we really need the reminder when we're widowed that we need to take care of ourselves. And a lot of this stuff is stuff that we know we should be doing, but we just don't get done. So if you can kind of life hack these in, then it'll make it easier for you. You won't have to think about it as much. You'll just already be doing it. So we're sitting in my bedroom. It's lovely. Got nice light coming in, even though it's cold and I can't go outside and get good air. I still have nice sunshine today. It's no Tampa sunshine, but it's lovely sunshine just the same. And right over there is my bed. And if this was MTV Cribs' widowhood version, I think instead of jumping on that bed and saying, this is where the magic happens, we'd all jump on a bed and say, this is where the anxiety happens, because it does. And I can't tell you how much of my anxiety I have experienced in my bed. It's hard to go to sleep. It's hard to get up out of bed in the morning. I wake up at night and I can't sleep. That's the place that you were every day with your person, and you miss them there. It's not normal. It's not the same. It's not what you want it to be. So I think any changes that you can make to sleep and being in your bed that are going to help limit your anxiety are going to be positive for you. If you can go to bed at the same time every night, that can be really helpful. Turn off your phone, or at least turn off notifications for your phone. If you wake up in the middle of the night, don't do that anxious scroll thing where you're just going and going and going. Just leave it alone. Don't touch it. You can set limits with apps on your phone so that you can't even access certain programs. So if you're really stuck on Facebook, or if you even just want to see data on how much time you've spent there, then you can have an app tell you that, and that'll help keep you more honest. One thing that I used to do a lot was I would wake up in the middle of the night and I would just start to say to myself, oh no, it's 3 hours till I have to wake up. I'm never going to go back to sleep. I'm not going to get enough sleep. What am I going to do? I'm not going to get anything done tomorrow. I was adding drama to my trauma. And I think we have this idea that we're supposed to just go to bed, sleep for 8 hours, wake up, and that's normal. And it just really isn't. Most of us do wake up. And I think, back in the days of cavemen, we would have woken up and stoked the fire. Somebody would have had to go outside and made sure there weren't any predators. So we're probably built to wake up. And being a little bit forgiving with yourself in that moment and just saying, it's okay, I can still relax and rest and close your eyes and make sure you're comfortable. If you need a drink of water, if you need to use the bathroom, I always have to use the bathroom in the middle of the night. So whatever you can do, if you need to brush your teeth again to kind of reset that bedtime, okay, I'm going to bed now, body, let's do this. If you want to take a shower really quickly, get warm and comfy, and then just, try to let go of that expectation of what you should be doing, and maybe that'll help you relax. In the morning, it can be really difficult to get up. Now we have to face the day. The motivational speaker Mel Robbins does a countdown. So she just goes 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, pops out of bed. And that's just that. And the decision is made that she counts down and she gets up, and it doesn't matter what else is going on in her head. So whatever kind of hacks you can get to encourage yourself to not spend more and more time just delaying that getting out of bed is good. And then honestly, if you can't sleep, if you can't get good sleep in your bed because it bothers you to be there, then maybe you can sleep on the couch, or you can get an air mattress, or you can sleep in the guest room. And that might be what you have to do for a little while until you can get comfortable in that bed again. And that's not perfect. That's not what we want. And we would prefer to have our person there and just be sleeping normally. But sleep is really important. And I think fixing the ability to get good sleep helps you deal with your anxiety during the day. So along those lines, water is very important. Have you ever just had a drink of water and then immediately felt better? Like, I didn't have a headache, I just was thirsty. I do that all the time. So if you can set your water drinking, there's apps for that too. There's an app for everything, guys. If you can set your water drinking, so you say, hey, I'm gonna just drink a glass of water first thing as soon as I get up, and there's a cup by the sink, and I get up and I drink it. Or say every day when I'm making dinner, I'm also gonna drink a glass of water, and then every day you do that, so you don't really have to think about it, and then you just have that one glass that you know you've gotten in. Same with eating. I think if you're really struggling with food, if you're really struggling to be healthy, then don't try to overhaul the whole thing. Try to get one healthy meal or one healthy thing in during the day, and just start there. Start small. If you're overeating a lot of junk food, then make that thing really vegetable heavy, or if you're under eating, then make that really like nutrient calorie dense. I did a lot of foods that I didn't have to prepare when I was first widowed, and I was really anxious because it was overwhelming to just make a decision. So when you cut back on the number of decisions you have to make, then that helps your anxiety because your brain isn't struggling to make all those decisions all day long. So a banana was good. I ate a lot of avocados. I'm a millennial. We love them. I think everyone's heard that by now. Same for exercise. I do know a lot of widows, not a lot, but some widows who have gone out and run a marathon and started training as soon as they lost their person, and that is just incredible, but it is not me, and I cannot do that or even imagine a world where I could do that. So what I really needed to do was small goals, and what I'm doing right now is 10 squats every day, which sounds like nothing, and you might laugh at me, silly Whitney. You can do 10 squats a day. It doesn't even take 30 seconds, but you would be surprised how hard it is to do every single day. So building that habit and telling myself, I want to do this every day, and just getting in that rhythm, having a rhythm to your days where things don't need to be decided. You are just doing them because that's part of your day and it's built into your day. It takes the pressure off having to do and having to decide. So any other peaceful flow type activities that you can add in can help you relax and kind of bring down the tension, which will help reduce anxiety. I'm not artistic either, but I can color in the lines, so I will show you my picture. I have a coloring book, and I've done that a little bit here and there, and it's nice to have something that's not just sit in front of the TV or be on my phone. Meditation, if you want to start practicing meditation, it can be really good. A lot of people have told me that they try to meditate when they're feeling anxious. And I think that is just the worst time to try to meditate. Unless you're already really good at it, it's very difficult to meditate. If you're good at it, then good job, because I struggle. And I think that's one place where having a really miniature goal can be helpful, because you're gonna feel very challenged by trying to turn your mind off. So don't try to meditate for 30 minutes, try to meditate for 30 seconds. And again, that seems small, but if you can do it every day for 30 seconds, then that's a piece that you're getting used to, that you're building into your life. And then once you've done that for 2 weeks, then try to expand into maybe 2 minutes and see how that goes. But it's a practice. If you hear anybody talk about meditation, they say it's practice. It's never something that you just do. It's a practice of meditation. Okay, so what do we do when we're in a moment of anxiety and we need help? The first thing is breathe. And I'm not doing it very much right now because I'm talking to you and I'm anxious about sharing ideas with you. So I'm going to take a minute and breathe. Breathing through your nose helps slow it down a little bit because you can't get in as much. And then pushing all your breath out will help you with your intake, because you have to inhale if you push all of your breath out. If you find that it's really hard to slow down your breath, you can breathe through a straw, and that might help slow your breath down. You can also do square breathing. So if you imagine a square, sure you can, and breathe in for a count of 4 on one side of the square, and then hold it, and then breathe out for a count of 4 on the other side of the square, and then hold it. And that can give you something to visualize as you're doing that. It's going to be really easy to do a couple of deep breaths, and then you're automatically going to go back to that short, shallow breath. So just keep refocusing, like you're meditating. It's not, okay, I'm just going and I'm doing it well, and I'm doing it well the whole time. It's do it, okay, I'm kind of not doing it, refocus. Do it, okay, I'm kind of not doing it anymore, refocus. And just bring it back every time you breathe. And remember, these feelings of anxiety are triggering chemicals inside of you. So you're having a physical reaction, and those chemicals are stimulating your lungs, your heart, your gut, and you're feeling physical effects. And that takes a while to dissipate. So don't expect it to go away right away. I think we have this idea that we are breathing, so now it should be better, and it's not better, and that kind of adds to this sort of anxious spiral. So give yourself some space to let things work. It's going to take about 20 minutes for those chemicals to start to dissipate, but you're going to start to feel better as you're doing these things. So keep breathing. If you use a strong smell, that can be helpful. I know a lot of people who like essential oils. If you carry one of those with you that you like, I know that some of them have different suggestions for what they can help with. But just pick the smell that you like and carry it with you, and then that can kind of help bring you back into the present moment. Same for flavors. I have a little tin of mints, strong mints, that I can pop a mint, and it kind of shocks my system back to I'm here, I'm okay, things are okay, I'm right here. And that can be helpful if you're feeling anxious. I used to get a lot of feeling that I was like very pent up with energy, or that I needed to do something. So if you're in a place that you can do something and that's how you feel, then try to do some jumping jacks, or go up a flight of stairs and down a flight of stairs. I used to do push-ups, and when I was first widowed, I could probably do 3 push-ups or something. And then about 8 or 9 months in, I could do 40 some push-ups in a row. So that was kind of like a nice benefit to my anxiety, was that I got a little bit of exercise, and that was just every time I felt like that, I would get down and do some push-ups. If you can't move your body in a physical way like that, and you are in a place that is making you uncomfortable, maybe the best option is just to move to a new location. So a lot of the time what would happen to me is I would be in some place that was really loud or really crowded, and that would make me start to have feelings of anxiety. And if I could get away, then sometimes that was just the best option, was I don't need to be here, so I'm gonna leave. And I could come back sometimes that was just a break, but sometimes I just, well, that's not for me right now, and that's okay. A lot of people do something called the 5 things game. So you'll do 5 things that you can see in the room. So I can see my Camp Widow badge from the last camp that I went to in Toronto, and I can see my necklace, and I can see the window and my bed, and then 4 things that you could touch, and then 3 things that you could smell, and so just going down like that. Sometimes I think that's way too many instructions at a time where I'm feeling anxious, so I kind of like to cut that down a little bit, and I'll just do like 3 things of a certain color, and I'll look for that. Or I'll just count things, repetitive things. So I have a headboard over there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I can count all the buttons on the headboard. I also like to count just up. So I'll start at 1, 1, 2, just in my head, or sometimes out loud. Counting is almost meditative, because I'm trying not to think about anything else except for the counting, and just staying in the counting. And if I lose my place, then I just come back to it and keep counting. And that's just a way to focus your brain back into the present. Okay, if you've seen the movie Inception, this will be a little bit familiar. If you haven't seen it, I don't recommend it right now because it's kind of trippy. I still don't really know what happens, but I have this pretty little thimble, and so if you have a small object, for lack of a better explanation, in the movie what they do is they use these small objects to kind of ground themselves to reality. So you can pick up something where you are and look at it, or you can carry something with you in your purse or your wallet. If you have a piece of jewelry, or you can hang something from a necklace and you want to use it, it might be better not to use something that is tied to your person, or maybe you really want to use something that's tied to your person. Kind of figure that out if that makes you more or less anxious in a moment. And then you can kind of look at the colors, feel it. This feels cold. It kind of helps ground you in where you are. And I'm here, I'm in my room, I'm safe, and I'm okay. And then finally, having a mantra. A mantra is just something that you repeat to yourself that's maybe 5 words or fewer, something positive, something that you can just say over and over again. That's a little bit meditative, and it will keep you focused in what's happening instead of what's imagined in your mind. So I hope some of those tips and tools will be useful for you, and I want you to stay honest, and good luck in dealing with your anxiety. I don't think you should try to do all of these things because that was a lot of stuff, but also don't do nothing, because you deserve to live a life without anxiety, and it takes a little bit of work, but I know that you guys can all do it. So good luck to you. Long live love.